Let's go to the Toms River Volkswagen Sports Hotline and welcome into the locker room former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene. Good morning, T. Greene.
What's up, Billy? How you doing, my friend?
Tommy, I'll tell you what, these young kids, man, they don't understand. They don't understand when you get between the lines, right? When you're on the field of battle. And Tommy's Tommy's the perfect person to ask this. When you're on the field of battle, Tommy, you go out there to do what? You go out there to win. If you're hurt, you go out. You don't think about being hurt. You go out there trying to win. Am I correct or am I wrong?
You go out there, yeah. You're going out there trying to do the best you can with what you have that day,
exactly,
physically and everything.
Like because the argument we're getting into right now, Tommy, is like Joel Embiid last night. You know, obviously 2.5 months ago, he had surgery on his meniscus, and you know, but he's in the playoffs and he did this self alley-oop. I don't fault the man for doing whatever he can to try to win. Like, so Tommy, if they clear you to play, you're good to play, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, nobody knows how you feel but you. You know,
exactly.
Pain wise, and your pain threshold, and depending on what kind of injury or what thing you got going on. You know, now if it's or if like Embiid, I didn't watch the game or anything, but if he's a detriment to the team, he's not playing, he's hurting them by being on the floor. He don't need to be on the floor. You know what I mean? Right. If he's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'd rather have the healthy bodies able to move and go up and down the court like he's supposed to.
What time?
What did Joel's? What he's going to post up at the 3-point line and shoot threes?
Yeah, I mean, he was doing that for a lot of the game, but he came out with an absolute. How do I want to put this? He came out with a vengeance. He wasn't as good Wednesday in the play-in game against the Heat. He came out with his head on fire, was playing great,
and then he went 16-point lead.
Yeah, and then he went for the self alley-oop. He went for the self alley-oop, and keep in mind he's wearing this huge brace on his knee. He's clearly not as aggressive in the paint because he's gingerly around the 3-point line, shooting more threes. He had 8 3-pointers, and then he goes up for the self alley-oop, buckles his knee, and then has to go back to the locker room. Comes back in the second half. Didn't have one rebound in the fourth quarter. He didn't have any field goals made in the fourth quarter. So Billy's argument is you're going to go 100%, and I understand that, but you can go 100% and not put your surgically repaired knee on the line when you're just getting back to play. You know, I would rather him go for a wide open dunk or something than a self alley-oop.
Well, yeah. Judging by what you said, I didn't see it. And he's doing something. I call it showboating.
He is.
Well, I don't. But see, I don't know if that was a show.
He should have did a layup rather less than trying to dunk it. If it's that type of thing.
Yeah, but he was in a crowd. I mean? But Tommy, he was in a crowd. My point is, he was trying to do whatever he can to win. And what the argument here is he should have done that particular play because he's hurt. And I'm saying if he's hurt, if he's cleared to play, he can do whatever. He should be able to do whatever he wants to do.
If he's cleared to play, obviously, he can go out there and play. Then it all depends on what kind of. You might not be 100%. You're dealing with discomfort and pain is how much you can deal with.
I will say.
Then are you a detriment? Are you doing stuff you shouldn't do? Like, could he have had an easier basket that rather than trying to self-alley-oop it? Could he done it a different way? Maybe not hurt himself even more?
Definitely.
I don't know.
I will say to Billy's point.
Y'all saw it. So.
Yeah,
it didn't seem like he was showboating.
I don't think
he was just trying to get out of it.
I just think that he had no other options in his mind at the time. He just thought that would be the play that could get him a basket.
Yeah.
And Tommy, but my point to you is, as a former baseball player, you've had to deal and fight through injuries. Did you take anything? Did you all right? So if you hurt your shoulder and you had rehab, coming back from an injury, once you get on that mound, you weren't thinking about your injury, were you?
Well, no, that's part of the mental process. As far as when you during your rehab starts like that, is overcoming after the surgery. I had surgery 3 times. So some of the biggest thing is, you're still going through discomfort, but the mental battle, is it going to hurt when I throw every time?
Right.
Type thing. And then in my case, later down the line, it hurt all the time. So and finally.
So Tommy, was Tommy
dead horse? You know what I mean?
Tommy, was there a pitch you wouldn't throw? Like when you were like coming back from an injury, say after you rehabbed, you had your AAA assignment or whatever, and you got back to the bigs and you're back on the mound. Is there a pitch you wouldn't throw because you had that injury?
No, not if I made it back to the big leagues.
That's what I'm saying.
I went through the process of. in AAA, having it when I was with Houston. My arm was killing me, and I didn't touch a ball in between my starts. I didn't even throw. It was hurting me that bad. But I geared it up for that 5th day, and I did well. And but I wouldn't. I shied away from the curveball back then because it banged me even more.
You hear that, Billy?
I heard that.
He shied away from the curveball, just like a beach should shy away from the self alley-oop. I mean, come on.
All right, Tommy, let's talk about the starting rotation for the Phillies has been just lights out, especially the last 5 games. The starting pitcher's record is 4-0 with a 0.25 ERA, 36.2 innings, only 18 hits they've surrendered, 1 earned run, and 41 strikeouts against 7 walks. That's pretty good pitching, hey, Tommy?
Well, I mean, I've been doing the research over the past 7 days myself, and I mean, you can't beat what the starting staff has done. As far as that's concerned, even year to date, not just the past 7 days, year to date. I mean, the starters have got a 2.25 ERA for the whole year. Right. Just the starters, not counting just the earned run average for the week,
Right.
it's it's been a pleasant sign, that everybody's sort of been clicking on the same page, and I read something yesterday about what is the decision they're going to make about Turnbull, because.
Well, that's the next question we were going to ask you, because we're in here in the locker room with my locker room youth member, we're saying, what's going to happen with Turnbull? I mean, Taijuan Walker's ready to go. He's got one more rehab assignment. He'll be ready to go. What would you do, Tommy?
Well, I tell you what, it's going to be contingent on him, that last rehab start, too. How well he feels, how well he does, but bottom line, money talks. They're paying that money. If he's healthy, and they got to activate him, and he comes up, they're going. I know I want Turnbull staying right there and ride that horse as long as I can ride him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I can see him maybe sort of like piggybacking him with Walker. So start Walker, and if it's something happens, bring him in and let him go, type thing. As far as like that, but I see him maybe moving him because money talks. You know what I mean? They're bringing him how many million, right now. Obviously, he won 15 ball games last year. Mm-hmm. Was it, the perfect 15 ball games won? No. He had a 4.5, a little bit more ERA or more, or a little bit less. That's not awful, but no. It's, not, it wasn't in the threes. Threes is where you want it.
Well, the big thing was for the Phillies. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Tommy. The big thing was for the Phillies, too. He ate a lot of innings last year. Regardless of how many runs he was allowing, he was there every 5th day.
He deserves, the opportunity, as far as that's concerned, but I'd have the trigger ready to go with Turnbull, That's my opinion, because we're playing too good. It's just, you're looking at the record. Hey, we're still stuck in the division. You got 3 teams top of our division: Atlanta, us, and the Mets now, that are 8-2 in the last 10 games. All of us are on fire. You know what I mean? So we're playing good baseball, and we got to keep it up. You can't afford to be jacking around and doing that and getting in a bad way. You need to win the games you need to win. And that's what hurt me earlier in the season with you're wasting starts by your ace. Finally we won one for him last night, but we tried to give it away at the end, but
right. Well, real quick on the Turnbull thing. Obviously, one of these guys is going to have to go to the bullpen, and the assumption is, after Rob Thompson spoke, is that Taijuan's going to rejoin the rotation after his rehab start today in Lehigh Valley. But Turnbull, he's never been a guy that comes out of the bullpen. He's always been a guy who's a starter, and I get he hasn't had a good past few years. He hasn't been able to really stay healthy after that no-hitter a couple years ago. But what's the adjustment like for a starting pitcher your entire life to then go to the bullpen and be tasked with 1, 2, sometimes 3 innings? And let's be honest, if you're being used as a long reliever in today's day and age, it's non-high pressure situations where the game's pretty much over.
Well, I've done it. That was me. Mm-hmm. I've done it when I was with Atlanta and come over. I didn't pitch in the bullpen until I got in the big leagues. Mm-hmm. I was a starter my whole life, And, I was a starter when I started with Atlanta, when I first started. And then the following year, the lockout year, everything was in a hurry, spring training-wise and stuff like that. Now they put me in the pen. I'd never pitched in the pen in my life. It's an adjustment, but I think it's up. I know when I come to Philly and I end up pitching some in the pen, in 19 – I come over in 90. I started in 90 when I got traded over, and then coming out of spring training because they wanted a veteran left-hander, Dave LaPointe, in that rotation. They put me in the bullpen, which Johnny Padres went nuts. He was bad as a hornet. He couldn't understand that. But, I learned from it. It helped me mentally to be aggressive because you have to be aggressive. Come in and you're aggressive getting loose. You're throwing your fastball. You're getting it going. You're getting loose. That's the big thing about when they get you up in the bullpen is getting loose so you can let it go. So you're throwing that fastball more. That's why you see upticks maybe sometimes with guys' velocity when they switch to the bullpen because they're throwing their fastball more.
Right.
They're not jacking around and then throwing breaking balls and all kind of crap all the time. But it can be a positive. And it's the way it takes. I know it helped me mentally to be more aggressive, and then when I got the chance to start again and I took advantage of it, I took the same mentality into my starts. I said I'm gonna go as hard as I can. That don't mean trying to throw 110% or 100%. That means mentally be aggressive. It just helped me and give what I can got and leave it on the field. And when I run out of gas, they got somebody else behind me.
Right.
But I've geared myself up to go 9 innings. So. That's the way I looked at it.
We're talking with former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene every Sunday throughout the baseball season. We go on the mound with Tommy Greene, brought to you by Blitz's Market in Ocean City. Tommy, Aaron Nola on the mound today, 2-1 with a 3.47 ERA. He's talking about a horse, and Danny just mentioned even Taiwan eating up a lot of innings. Like Aaron Nola, he's just like he's talking about a workhorse. He gets it done.
Well, he's been our guy for some years now. You look at the guy who takes the post. I think he's led to, I don't know what kind of thing I saw this morning. He was like the number of starts he's made. He's the guy, one guy right behind him is like Barrios, talking about every year hits the post, like 32 starts or more every year. That's the guy you can count on. And that's why I told y'all in the past, I paid a guy. I want that guy here.
Yeah.
I want that guy here. He's going to figure out a way. He's going to give you the innings and keep you in ball games to give you a chance to win, and that's what he's done. And
for a pitching team,
we've needed that.
Yeah,
we've needed that because our offense until the past week, hadn't been there.
Tommy, we also got a text board message. The second part of our text board message is who's the best Phillies leadoff hitter since the 1980s? Danny, is that what we have?
Yeah, you wanted to exclude Pete Rose from the conversation.
Yeah, but since 1980, you played with Lenny Dykstra. Talk about a prototypical leadoff hitter. I thought he was great.
Well, I tell you, he was the best. He's the best I played with.
Yeah.
He was the best. I know '93 he was the best in baseball, and that's counting Ricky Henderson and all those guys.
Right.
So it's he knew how to work a pitcher, and he could hurt you. He set guys up. He had power. He could run. The only thing he probably didn't have was a good outfield arm. Right. But he kind of made up with things with the way he played. So.
Yeah, Tommy Greene, we appreciate you every Sunday coming on the mound, and we look forward to a big Phillies win there. Hey, listen, you got to beat the teams that you're playing. I know the Rockies and the White Sox aren't, obviously the best teams. As a matter of fact, the White Sox are horrible.
Awful.
But you got to beat the teams you're playing, right, Tommy?
Yeah, they got bats in the hand. They can hurt you. Look at last night. If we didn't add all those runs, look what would have happened. So.
All right, Tommy Greene,
Look at that.
We appreciate you, brother. We'll do it again next week. Thank you as always, and I'll be in touch.
You got it, man.
All right, there he is. On the mound with former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene. Is sponsored by Blitz's Market in Ocean City.